Thank you very much. This is such an honor to be here on the stage and to be labeled a rising star, especially at my age when I have given up hope of ever being named Mother of the Year. Now, my husband and I have 2 children. They are grown. They are fine. In fact, our older daughter, Anita, is an optometrist. And our younger daughter, Alicia, went to junior college on a soccer scholarship. And she later graduated from truck driving school and drove a semi. Me, I'm a retired teacher, and I know how important education is. So I worked very hard to teach my daughters how to read. And Anita was reading by the age of 4. Now, I used many different methods, but one of our favorite things to do was to study the alphabet. And I consider a tool, a little series of books called The Sweet Pickles. And they had animals that went with every letter of the alphabet. But it wasn't just that. It was that they had a describing word and then a little saying. And they had a whole series of books that we would read and all their adventures. And it wasn't just A is for alligator. It was accusing alligator. It's your fault. Bashful bear. I'm shy. Clever camel. I'll fix it. So I remember one particular day, we were in the car, and this was back in the day when you didn't have to put the kids in the back seat. So Anita was right there beside me, and I probably got some mom points because I could stick that arm out if I needed to, and I could restrain her if I needed to. Well, we were going down the road, and Anita opened up one of the Sweet Pickle books, and right in the front cover, it had all the animals. So I was going through, because I couldn't look at the book, I was going through naming off the animals and what they had to say, and Anita was checking me. And I was doing great till I got to the letter T. And the letter T, I went blank. I could not remember what animal went with T. Well, Anita, she was 4 years old. She was a little bit sassy. And she wanted to give me a clue, just a hint. And she leaned over and she said, "It's that damn turtle." Reminded me it was Temper Tantrum Turtle who said, "I'll hold my breath." Well, she was 4 years old, and I was sure that no mother is proud of their daughter using such language, but anyway, she was a little sassy. And it was about a year later that Alicia came along. Now, being a teacher, Alicia was born in March. In fact, she just celebrated her 44th birthday last Wednesday. And I was just going to try to make it to the end of the school year. I was very lucky to get my favorite aunt, my Aunt Juanita, to come stay with us. Aunt Juanita was a widow and had no children of her own, but she was my favorite aunt, and she came and she stayed with us till the end of the school year, and she'd have dinner on the table for us, and she would take care of baby Alicia and little sassy Anita. Well, Aunt Juanita knew that Anita knew how to read. She got to thinking maybe she needs to study her math. So she asked her one day, "Anita, do you know what 2 plus 2 is?" "Do you?" "Well, yes." "Well, then I don't need to tell you then." I'm sure that Aunt Juanita was just as happy when summer vacation came as I was. Well, the girls loved it when my mother came, because my mother would cook for us. I knew how to cook. I had cooked for the harvest crew. But I was a working mother. And as a working mother, I usually gave them fast food or maybe frozen dinners. Maybe I got a few mom points for making that big skillet of hamburger helper. But Mother would come and she would cook a decent meal for us. I remember in particular one day, we came home from school. The girls, Anita was in high school, Alicia was in junior high, and Mother had her famous spaghetti for us. Now, Mother did start with a jar of spaghetti sauce, but back in those days, they were just plain. Mother would add things like bell pepper, maybe more onions and mushrooms, what have you, and then she had a secret ingredient. And so that day we came home, sat down, and we of course put some food away for when my husband got off work, but we all sat down to enjoy this wonderful spaghetti dinner. We took a bite and we spit it out. There was something terribly wrong with Mother's spaghetti. The girls and I just sat there kind of like trying to figure it out. Mother jumped into action. She ran over to that jar of spaghetti sauce and she felt around the rim. Nothing wrong there. She checked every little item until she got to that secret ingredient, which was really brown sugar. She just put a little bit of brown sugar. But Mother was cooking in my kitchen. And that Tupperware container in the food pantry was not brown sugar. It was something I was helping Alicia with her science fair project. It was sand. So I have always thought, if I had been a better mother, that sand never would have been in my food pantry.